The Galactic Defense Academy's combat trial chamber hummed with anticipation as the final group of cadets prepared for their assessment. Commander Zixtal, a towering Velthari with crystalline exoskeleton that gleamed under the harsh training, lights observed the nervous assembly through compound eyes that missed nothing. 47 cadets from 18 different species stood in formation, their various breathing apparatus, environmental suits, and biological adaptations creating a rainbow of alien physiology. At the far end of the line, almost forgotten, slouched a human cadet whose drooping eyelids and constant yawning had become legendary among the instructors. Cadet Marcus Thompson. Commander Zixtal's voice resonated through the chamber's translation matrices. Are you prepared for assessment? Marcus rubbed his eyes with the back of his hand, stifling another yawn. Yeah, sure thing, Commander. His casual response drew disapproving clicks and hisses from several alien cadets who had spent weeks preparing with meditation, combat stims, and ritualistic preparations. The combat trial was notorious throughout the academy. It wasn't merely about physical prowess or weapon mastery. It was a comprehensive test of tactical thinking, adaptability, and survival instinct under extreme pressure. The Academy's quantum combat simulator could generate scenarios so realistic that many cadets suffered genuine psychological trauma. The failure rate was approaching 90% this cycle. Velnari, a sleek amphibian from the ocean world, Eftidalmus was first. Her species had evolved perfect underwater combat capabilities, with bioluminescent markers that could disorient prey and predators alike. She entered the simulation chamber with fluid grace, her webbed hands already reaching for the weapon dispensers. The simulation began, a hostile boarding scenario aboard a crippled starship. Velnari's natural aquatic advantages meant nothing in the zero-gravity environment. Within minutes, she was overwhelmed by synthetic enemy combatants, her bioluminescence more hindrance than help in the cramped corridors. The simulation ended with her captured, her failure displayed in harsh red holographic text. Next came Thorax Prime, an insectoid warrior whose chitinous armor and mandibles were evolutionary perfection for close combat. His species had conquered 3 star systems through sheer martial prowess. Yet when faced with the simulation's adaptive, enemy AI which learned and countered his predictable attack patterns, he too fell within the first phase. One by one, each cadet failed. The brilliant strategist from Cerebral 9 overthought every decision until paralysis set in. The cybernetically enhanced warrior from Neotech relied too heavily on his implants, which the simulation systematically disabled. The psychic combatant from Mindreach found her telepathic abilities useless against artificial enemies with no minds to read. By the time Marcus shuffled forward, 37 cadets had been eliminated. The remaining 10 watched with barely concealed contempt as the human stumbled slightly, caught himself, and entered the simulation chamber while suppressing another yawn. Commander Zixtal's mandibles clicked in frustration. Humans were relatively new to the Galactic Alliance, and their inclusion in the Academy remained controversial. They showed no obvious evolutionary advantages, no natural armor, no enhanced senses, no specialized environmental adaptations. Worst of all, this particular human seemed perpetually exhausted. The simulation loaded, an asymmetric warfare scenario on a hostile planet surface. Enemy forces outnumbered the cadet 50-1, with superior technology and knowledge of local terrain. Most cadets would attempt to engage directly or seek defensive positions. Marcus looked around the simulated environment with half-closed eyes, took a deep breath, and did something unprecedented. He sat down. "What is he doing?" whispered Kethara, a crystal-based life form whose entire species communicated through harmonic frequencies. Marcus remained motionless for several minutes, apparently napping in the middle of active combat simulation. Enemy forces began converging on his position from multiple vectors. Commander Zixtal leaned forward, preparing to end the simulation and record another failure. Then Marcus moved. It wasn't the explosive action of Thorax Prime or the graceful flow of Velnari. It was something altogether different, efficient, calculated, almost lazy in its economy of motion. He avoided the first enemy patrol not through speed or stealth, but by timing his movement to a gap in their pattern that shouldn't have existed. He disabled sentries not through superior strength, but by exploiting mechanical vulnerabilities in their equipment that required encyclopedic knowledge of 17 different weapon systems. Most remarkably, he turned the enemy's advantages against them. Their superior numbers became a liability when he collapsed a ravine, trapping half their force. Their advanced technology became useless when he triggered an electromagnetic pulse using improvised materials. Their knowledge of local terrain meant nothing when he altered that terrain with controlled explosions. The watching cadets fell silent as Marcus systematically dismantled a scenario designed to be unwinnable. He never hurried, never appeared, stressed, and twice actually paused to stretch as if working out muscle cramps. "How is he predicting their movements?" Zixtal muttered, his translator barely catching the subvocal communication. The answer became clear as the simulation progressed. Marcus wasn't predicting anything, he was adapting. When enemies changed tactics, he changed faster. When they brought new weapons, he found newer countermeasures. When they altered their strategy, he was already 3 steps ahead with a different strategy entirely. It was as if warfare itself was his natural environment, not through aggression or martial prowess, but through an almost supernatural ability to see patterns, exploit weaknesses, and turn chaos into opportunity. The simulation ended with enemy forces eliminated or scattered, objectives completed, and Marcus standing amid the digital carnage looking mildly surprised that it was over. Commander Zixtal stared at the results for several long moments. Not only had the human passed, he had achieved a perfect score, something that had never been recorded in the Academy's history. "Cadet Thompson," the commander's voice carried new respect. "How did you accomplish this?" Marcus shrugged, already looking drowsy again. "I don't know, sir. Just seemed obvious, I guess. When you're tired all the time, you learn to conserve energy for what matters, and nothing matters more than staying alive." As the other cadets filed out in stunned silence, Commander Zixtal made a note in his personal log. "Recommend immediate review of human psychological and tactical assessment protocols. Their greatest strength may not be what they can do, but what they refuse to waste energy on." Marcus Thompson, meanwhile, found a corner and promptly fell asleep, having once again proven that sometimes the most dangerous weapon in the galaxy is a mind that never stops working, even when it appears to be resting.